President Cyril Ramaphosa has joined those sending condolences and expressing deep sorrow following the loss of life in a scholar transport vehicle crash near Vanderbijlpark.
Ramaphosa conveying his deepest sympathies to the families as well as the communities and the schools affected, saying the government will continue to work with citizens and community-based organizations to protect lives in these tragic circumstances.
13 children are now confirmed to have died in this morning's collision. Some are also in a critical condition in hospital.
And the incident involved a privately operated learner transport vehicle.
Gauteng Education MEC Matume Chilwane confirmed that the learners came from 5 schools. 3 of those schools were public, while 2 were private.
And the ages of the learners at this stage have not been disclosed.
Police have launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the collision,
with the MEC saying that there must be stricter oversight and vigilance around private scholar transport.
Gauteng police are investigating a case of culpable homicide following that tragic accident in the Vanderbijlpark area this morning, where the lives of 13 children were lost. 13 children who died when their scholar transport vehicle collided with a truck as they were making their way to school. Let's bring in SABC News reporter Lopang Alamu, who's been tracking the story for most of the day. Lopang, so police are investigating, but we're also trying to figure out how a routine trip to school ended so tragically.
Tembekile, that's correct. In fact, that's one of the questions that the parents of these deceased learners have been asking from this morning. What actually transpired and what led to this particular tragedy? Tembekile, it's really difficult being in such a situation. In fact, it's really hard for everyone that you see here behind me to try and keep it together. We've spoken to quite a number of people throughout the day. And as expected, those families really devastated. And it's not something that will sink in at the moment. We did try to be as sensitive as we can throughout the day, trying to cover the story with the dignity that it actually deserves. But one of those learners, Bulani Buleng Mapalla, a 17-year-old grade 11 learner, succumbed to her injuries on the scene. In fact, we are seated right next to her father, and we did ensure that he is in the right space to speak to us about who his daughter was. And we actually saw a video footage of Buleng leave the house this morning a few minutes before 6 a.m. And that's the last time her family was to see her alive. And Tate Mapalla, thank you so much for your time. I'm not going to ask you how you're feeling. It's quite obvious at this stage. But perhaps you can talk to us about who Buleng was, you as her father and the rest of the family as well.
Thank you very much. Buleng is my last born, and she was in El Shaddai High School doing grade 11. She was a lovely person, and yesterday we went together to church, and everybody was happy inside the churchyard, and we came back nicely. He's someone who likes singing in the church. He loves the church very much, more than me. So I was devastated this morning when I heard that the vehicle they were traveling with is involved in an accident of its own. If I can determine what I saw on the scene of crime, I didn't see accident, I saw murder. Because the vehicle they were traveling with, you can't even recognize. So, fortunate enough, I met with one of the person who the driver passes would try to overtake. The very same driver tried to low down so that he can go in front. Unfortunately, the driver was rushing for a far away vehicle because this driver saw there was a truck coming, then he brakes so that he can accommodate him. But the driver, I don't know what is happening. That is why I can't call it a culpable homicide, this one. That is me. It was a pure murder. Plenty students were lying there. I only recovered her afternoon at the Spokane mortuary.
And how did you find out You said to me off camera that you actually woke her up this morning and she was a bit late, in fact, and you wouldn't have imagined that this would happen. But at what point do you find out and who informs you?
In fact, she wasn't late. The driver was late with approximately 5 minutes. So there was no rush because these people pay monthly. So there was no need for the driver to rush to that extent because he's not rushing for any income somewhere else. It's a school bus. So this morning, most probably 8:30, when I checked my social media, I saw this, but I passed because I was rushing. I wanted to post something. But my first daughter, my firstborn, came and brought the phone to me. And then when I spoke on the phone, somebody from the school where her mother is working. And then she said, no, the mother rushed to the scene. She's going to investigate if our child is not involved in that accident. Then I went back because I saw on the social media a vehicle. So when I saw the name Jimmy, I did understand that Kumbi was Mr. Jimmy's Kumbi. And well, I tried to rush there because when I saw the vehicle, it was finished. Lucky enough, I made it to the scene. So devastating. I just don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to all the drivers who carry students. Not only the minibuses, including the big buses that our children are relying on. The exchanging of kids at a certain points whereby we don't even know. Is the driver legit to drive the vehicle? Any necessary documentation from that driver? I don't want to talk about the owner because owner knows everything. When you hire a person, you must make sure that that particular driver got a valid documentation to carry human life.
Thank you so much, and once again, our condolences. Tembekile, well, there you have it. In fact, the plea that was just made now by Ntate Maphala is one of the things that the parents have been talking about throughout the morning, right into the afternoon. And as you've just seen this evening, the legitimacy of the scholar transport drivers. How safe are they with the children that they transport? And it surely shouldn't be taking the deaths of 13 learners to have this conversation once more. And it's quite devastating as we shared the families that we've spoken to, completely heartbroken. And it's only a matter of time until these parents now have these questions to the relevant authorities, as well as those in charge of these scholar transports. Do they have the right papers are the questions that have been asked throughout the day. Are they properly trained to be on South African roads and adhere to the rules of the road? And Ntate Maphala is actually correct. We saw that car. There was absolutely nothing left of it. That car's complete write-off, unrecognizable at that. And we do understand that at this stage, no word on the condition of that driver. Earlier on, we were told that he is in hospital and recovering from minor injuries, but we've been receiving contradicting reports on his condition throughout the day, but we'll get that confirmation for you. I think we'll now give the family some space to continue with their grieving and their preparations. I'll take it back to you in studio for now, Tembekile.
Lopang, Alamu, SABC News reporter speaking to the family of Buleng, a teenage girl who died in that horror crash in Vanderbijlpark this morning. Absolutely horrific what the families are going through.